Welcome, everyone. Our special guest is Antonia Albano. And thank you for coming with us, Antonia. Welcome, welcome. So happy to have you here.
Janice, thank you. And thank you to everybody who's tuned in. I am really excited to share these incredible messages, and especially to people who are receptive and open and moving on their own path. So thank you for the incredible, just the opportunity to do this. It's a real pleasure.
Well, thank you, Antonia. And let me introduce a little bit about Antonia. She is a mystic, a visionary, teacher, world traveler on a sailboat, and one of the most remarkable people I have come about to know. Antonia has been facilitating workshops on the raising of human consciousness since the early 1990s. She has had a lifelong fascination with both how the unmanifest is made manifest and how the unmanifest is integral to our existence on this planet and permeates all life with its intelligence. This has taken her through many interesting and diverse fields, most moving into the esoteric science and sacred geometry. Two of the gifts that Antonia shares are the new geometric technologies of love, the breathing, pulsating, infinite density of potential geometries for evolution into the next harmonic of love, the next harmonic of human, in addition to the next evolution of a new human energetic system, a complete hardware installation of a new high-tech energy system for the human body to take us into the future. Throughout the years, Antonia has held the dream of a world of awakened hearts, founding the World Love Project, Virginia's annual multi-day celebration of love festival, creating an energetically powerful, one-of-a-kind modern-day labyrinth, and the Healing Resonance Council has been a few of the ways Antonia envisions making a difference. She has been involved for over 3 decades with the California-based Elohim Center for Transformational Studies, Church of Inner Wisdom, co-founded the California Institute of Mind-Body Awareness near San Francisco, and has spent time as a transformational coach, integrative therapist, and spiritual mentor. Currently, she is co-founder and general manager of a 250-acre holistic retreat, event, and teaching facility in the Virginia Shenandoah Valley with her husband. Antonia continues to develop a deeper resonance with the geometries and exploring esoteric studies, expanding her inner vision and dissolving illusions.
Wow.
This is just a brief and small glimpse of Antonia's life, and all I can say is, wow. You have a history of so much spiritual endeavor, more actually than we can cover tonight. Tell us a bit. What's your original spiritual background? How did all the spiritual practice and study begin? What motivated you?
You know, Janice, when people ask that, I remind people that we are spirit. We are creation manifest. We already are. So for me, it feels like the interior me is calling out to say, remove the veils, remove the veils. And that's the journey. And I think a lot of us start in some of the areas that we look at as numerology and astrology and magic and all the things that we are curious about when we're younger. And then those evolve. And I think our natural curiosity reaches out to a spiritual connection. We are already there. We're already there. It's finding our way back home. And I really get that this may be the greatest game, the greatest journey, the greatest experience, adventure that human beings can undertake, is to find their way back home.
Our actual purpose, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
However, you also seem to love the earthly gifts too. You sailed around the world in a 40-foot sailboat, I understand, something like.
I didn't go all the way around. We had intended to, and
Mhm.
after 6 years, we decided not to cross the Atlantic and keep going. But we had been out for 6 years and did about 17,000 miles, have seen the world at 5 miles an hour of an average.
Well,
Yeah, it's a different experience. So some of the scariest moments I've ever known in my life. And I was silly enough to say yes for a couple reasons, but one of them was to conquer my fear of the open water. I mean, I'd been a swimmer and a scuba diver and whatever. So it wasn't that, it was the open ocean. And I thought, okay, I'm going to conquer fear. Well, a year or two out, I realized how naive that actually was. You don't conquer fear. You learn to walk forward in the face of fear. And it's courageous. It's a courageous walk. And what it frightens one person does not frighten another person. Yeah. So I looked at my own fears and walked through them and kept showing up even if I was frightened. So it was a really incredible experience. And we bought another sailboat, and we are staying closer to home, visiting once or twice a month during the months when we can. And but yes,
yeah.
I love it.
Isn't it interesting how normal life is also a spiritual quest? Always.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to, Antonia is today going to be introducing us to some new geometries. Some, you say, Antonia, are on the earth for the first time. How did they come to you, and where are they from?
Well, I knew that my life was in a transition when we purchased the 250 acres. I didn't know, it was obvious my life was going to change, but how, I didn't know. And a friend of mine in Seattle area said, well, why don't you come on out here and I'll give you my motor home, fifth wheel. I don't know what you call them exactly, like a camper, but a really nice camper. And he said, why don't you come out and spend a few days? So I thought, okay, well, I'll go out and do what I would call a modern day vision quest. And I did. And about midnight one night, all of a sudden I was just doodling and started drawing what you're seeing behind me, and didn't know anything about what I was doing. It was just pretty. And I thought I was designing a sculpture to hold bells from around the world, which was another vision I had. Anyway, it started from there. And it was only over time that they said that they were new on this earth plane and they were new in the galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a little hard to accept. I keep thinking I'm nuts, and I'm making it all up. And over the years, I've just had so much validation. And when I question, I have something or someone just kind of just point blank say something to me that is such a validation of what I've been questioning.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been a journey for me to look at geometry as a spiritual path. I never really, you ask about some of the background, but it's like I call it the wiring. I have obviously been guided to have what I call the wiring in place in order to receive frequencies, music, color, sound, all of it. And I'm one of those ones who really wanted to sound great when I took a language in 9th grade. And because I didn't sound very good, I didn't sound very fluent, and I don't know why I expected to, but the perfectionist in me wanted to. And so I opted to take math and science instead of language, what a crazy decision. I took, it's chemistry, and then I got to college and I took inorganic chemistry and organic chemistry and textile chemistry and college calculus. And I'm going, who took those courses? Because if you ask me right now, I don't know that I could repeat any of it. And I mean that sincerely. It's not a joke. It's like somebody else stepped in and took the courses for me. I had to have all the chemistry to graduate from my major. And I passed them. I got an A in the first inorganic chemistry. So it's like, I don't know who took it. So I would say, what I say is it's the wiring. It's like I had all of that background in place enough to recognize. I have an ability to kind of know when I even see a statement that my body just reacts to it, and I know that it is relevant. I may not know how it's relevant.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you brought some pictures and of your geometry and what you've been talking about. And wow, when we go through this, we'll see why guidance put you in these classes. Can you share them with us now?
I will, and I want to say that when Janice and I were speaking, before this, there are quite a few slides, even in just the basics. So we're going to try and move through a number of them, and this is more as an overview. And if you're interested in asking more questions, please do. But I'm going to share a screen now with what I've got, and yeah, let's see. Okay, so this is the information that I've been given. It's called the Next Octave of Love and the Next Octave of Human. And for those people who ask what an octave is, it's do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. It's another octave. It's literally, the information says beyond your ability to cognate. So exciting. Okay, for those of you who know the Platonic solids, considered to be the building blocks of all organic matter on this earth plane. These are, we don't need to go into this, but these are the Archimedean solids that are truncated Platonic solids. This is the family that I have brought through. We're going to be focusing on infinite love and the Golden Cross today, okay? They're called the Geometries of Love, or the it evolved into the geometric technologies for the Next Octave of Human and the Next Octave of Love. So I wanted you to see these because this is the information that came through after the graphic artist put that together for me. It said, yes, the Geometries of Love belong in this company. These are equivalent to the Platonic solids and vital for the creation of this Next Octave of Love, this Next Octave of Human, and the newly forming heaven on earth. I do not know yet who the committee is, okay? But they said it was the committee. So this is what we're going to be looking at to begin with. This is the very first one that I mentioned came through on the vision quest that I took back in 2004, January 2004. And it's called Infinite Love, obviously for obvious reasons. And its message to me is that it's a master key to opening, unlocking, and moving through the illusionary veil that has kept us believing that we are separate from source. Only after opening our hearts can we glimpse recognition of that which we have never truly forgotten and move into bliss and unity with the source beyond any naming, God, Creator, all that is. This is what I used to call the driver of all of the geometries. In my last retreat last November, one of the participants said, instead of driver, it really is like a coordinator. It's like a choreographer. And I said, oh my gosh, it is. And just like a choreographer, it chooses the shapes for it to take, or the players that it wants to pull together to speak or to represent or to present a story. So this is what we're going to be working with today and showing you what has happened Okay, this is a very specific mathematical equation. This is a golden ratio infinity, the very first time on this earth plane. And while it looks to be, but of course, we have never seen a mathematically acknowledged quality of the physics acknowledged shape of a infinity geometry. And when it was a couple months before I sat and I said, well, what is your name? Because I just knew it was a golden ratio infinity. And if spirit could go, duh, I almost got that. It was like golden infinity, of course. And I thought, okay. And the golden ratio is the most ubiquitous equation in creation. It is not the only equation, but it is the most ubiquitous because of its simplicity. And here are a few things that you've seen before, I'm sure. A is to B as A is to AB. That's the formula. You're going to see the Fibonacci spiral. And I will say that a lot of people use Fibonacci and golden ratio interchangeably. They are not. Okay, they are, say, first cousins. Maybe I think it's the 15th iteration of Fibonacci that you start, that you're getting really close, and it will always get closer and closer. But my understanding is that the golden ratio is an irrational number, and nature can only, or that Fibonacci is a whole number series, and it's the closest that humans can actually connect with nature that is working with irrational numbers. Okay, this is what I've been doing with the Garden of Golden Proportion, and excuse my French, but I think it's Jardin d'Or Fille. And so I've been creating, this is a double golden ratio infinity, and we're going to find out why. First one showed up vertically, and it's only later that it replicated and then turned, and we're going to see that later. Okay. And I want to show you this again for a reason. So take a look at what happens. This is the way spirit talks to me. I was told that if I would get a camera with a good zoom, it would show me things that my eyes can't see. So after the sculptor made the sculpture, he went out and said, I'm going to give you my studio to do the painting. And I thought he was going to do it with me. And he said, oh, I'm busy. I've got things to do. Now it's yours. So this is after 3 days. Now, I don't know about you, but it took my breath away. Okay. This is what it looks like in reality. This is what it looked like 3 days later. At the end of the 3 days, no heat in the studio, nothing but natural light. This is what happens when the geometry becomes alive. Okay, this is stretch. I'm calling it breathing and stretching. This says, I am here, and I want to see what I can do. Believe me, this stretched my brain. So, and this is another one. I got about 8 or 9 of these. I was using film. I was standing in the Walmart aisle with tears running down my face because I knew that this was really important. It actually has a heartbeat. I had an engineer look at this thing, didn't say a word for about 5 minutes, and he looked at me and he said, this is alive. I said, I know. So that's why I wanted to show you this, because that's what it looks like in your eyes. This is what it looks like energetically. After you've prayed on something, after I even held this in my hand because I was guided to, and actually kissed it and breathed into it. Look at this. This is 5/8 inch by 1.5 inch solid steel. So anyway, that's kind of fun. This is the third geometry, which we're not going to be working with today. This is it. And this is a view from the hilltop. And this is what happens when you begin to own. When you own a vibration, any of you who have been energy workers, therapists, or taken a course, you always end up with people coming to you right after you finished a course because suddenly you're qualified to work with them. It's really interesting. So once you own these vibrations, the actual land reaches out for you and says, would you manifest infinite love on me? Or it was about a year or two in, and all of a sudden, a multiple mountain peak range, the second peak said, well, I want, and they gave me a name of another one. So believe me, this is, as I said, a journey for me too. Okay, we're going to stop there for this.
Yes. Okay.
We're going to continue, but that's it.
Yeah, I just have a couple of questions. You said that these energetics, these new geometries, are a marriage of science and spirituality. And tell us a little bit more about that.
Well, it's a spiritual science. The geometry itself is more of the scientific aspect. It's shape. I'm looking to see, yeah. Math is, the geometry is mathematical. People who work with sacred geometry believe that geometry are thought forms in the mind of God, and that they are avenues of expression of blueprints of creation. So it becomes sacred. And so you're actually using the geometry to not only manifest matter, but you're connecting with the source of the matter. And so the group that I've been studying with, off and on, calls it a spiritual science, that sacred geometry is the marriage of both science and spirituality.
And these things are like these new geometries. I think you said that like almost like gifts to us.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And what is the purpose? What do you think they're here for?
What do I think, or what
do you know? Whatever, however you want to take that.
Actually, the very first picture that I put up said Next Octave of Love, Next Octave of Human. And when people ask about an octave, have you ever had the experience of working on an issue that you might want to get rid of, and lo and behold, a year or so later, it comes back around and you say, wait, I thought I got rid of this, or I thought I let it go. But you're not working with it at the same level. You're working with another aspect of it, or another facet of it, or whatever. And it's the same with this. Even though, okay, we're looking at literally, if you were to look at the scale, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. And what I'm told is it's beyond our ability to cognate, beyond any blissful experience we've had, beyond any connection with source that we've had. That is not negating that. It's just saying that we cannot even begin to imagine what it's like 2,000 to 2,500 years from now, which is what the vibrational frequency is on these. They're still connecting with the earth plane, and that was one of the reasons I was told. I never had any idea that there would be a second one. To me, I was just so in love with this simple, elegant, infinite open heart and golden ratio infinity that I never expected another one. And when I did get one, about a year and a half later, I was surprised because I thought maybe I wasn't receptive enough. And over the years, the information has been given to me, and it was that nothing else could come in until this had been totally fully anchored onto this earth plane. And when I pointed out the Platonic solids as considered to be the building blocks of all organic matter on this earth plane, these geometries of love are literally needing to be on this earth plane as the vibrational frequencies to take us to literally the next millennium and beyond. They're here until we actually have received their gifts, have actuated them, and are ready for the next age to come in. It's mind-boggling, actually. It's like it's taken me years to be able to even, it took me a few years to even be able to say that comfortably, publicly, because of my, just concern that people think I'm crazy. But
And will this be changing our bodies as well? You mentioned expanded consciousness, but what about our bodies?
yeah, it actually has the ability to restructure our cellular makeup. And in doing so, it helps us to consciously evolve into this next octave of human. And we don't have to know what that is. It's like aligning, saying that this is a direction we want to go, that we want to be the purest form, or we are choosing at this point of our human evolution that we actually can become involved and help guide the direction of our evolution. And by choosing whatever it is that speaks to you, but these are actually tell you that they have an incredibly high frequency. Each one of them has come through with a message as to who they are, what they're here to do, and each one builds on the other, even though you can use each one independently. So in order for the second geometry to come in, the first one had to be totally anchored on this earth. So that's what the information I've been given.
Wow. I'd like to ask a question that came to me, and then I'll open up to other people's questions. The infinity form that we know in our mathematics and the equilateral infinity form. And then we have the one where the two loops are not the same size. Is there some kind of an association with them? Does one continue along with the other coming in?
Absolutely. And I mean, you interviewed Hope Fitzgerald, who is doing amazing work with the infinity wave. She got hers in 2010, and she told her story. So you're going to need to go back and look at the YouTube. And this has a very specific frequency that is absolutely imperative to this family of geometries. Hope is working with the infinity wave in some incredibly beautiful ways. And this is in its particular shape and its particular mathematical equation in order to be part of this geometric progression, working very differently. About 3 months ago, I got one of these waves that said you and Hope teaching together, and then suddenly behind that came the magic and alchemy of the infinities. And I went, why not? So when I mentioned it to Hope, she said, well, why not? So yes, they're here to be used as their gifts, whatever their gifts are, and how to use them. But yes, the equilateral infinity is, she said she was told it was from the 10th dimension. And that's way beyond anything most of us, I mean, yeah. These are from, these geometries say they're from the 19th dimension and from the realms of the seraphim and cherubim. Now, I can't tell you how many years it took me to accept that. And then I've had some people tell me that they've seen cherubim around me. So I don't know. I'm relating what I've been receiving for 18 years. And also my critic has been alive and well. And I can tell you that I've rolled my eyes a number of times. And over the time, I've just gotten to the point where I really honestly can feel it, see it, sense it. I talk to them. I've gotten prose from them. I've gotten music. I've gotten songs from them. So they tell you why they're here and what they're to do, and what rotation. This is something I really want to emphasize. this whole series of geometries is about the divine masculine and the divine feminine in harmonic balance as one, as one. So the sacred masculine, the sacred feminine in harmonic balance. And if everything in this series, if it moves, if one of the forms moves clockwise, the other moves counterclockwise. And unlike the Merkaba, they move at exactly the same speed. And the reason for that is because they say that they can move faster than the speed of light. And in order to keep from destabilizing or falling apart, they have to be they have to have a stable center. And in order to do that, they have to be counter-rotating to each other at exactly the same speed. So, yeah.
Wow. How expanding are you being for us tonight? Does anybody else have any question? Just a question so far? You can unmute yourself and speak. You don't need to be called on. Just unmute yourself and speak. Anybody has anything?
Antonia, this is Cindy, and I find this fascinating. My question is, how do the frequencies of these geometries interact or relate with human frequency? We each have our own divine frequency, right? Does it enhance it? Does it change it? Or how does that work?
Once you begin to actually work with geometric shapes, and in my classes and things, I talked about how to resonate with geometry forms and using finger like coloring book, finger tracers and things like that. The vibrational frequency becomes part of you, and then it like just works with you, and it actually works with shifting your whole cellular basis. I don't even know that it's happened until like my healthcare practitioner puts his hands on my head and he said, you know, I keep forgetting you have a totally different nervous system than anybody I've ever worked with. And I just know that in order for us to hold these frequencies, we need to be a higher frequency. You know, so it will do what it needs to do as long as you make the commitment and say, this is a direction that really speaks to me. And it doesn't have, I mean, these are gifts. You know, we can choose something else, but choose something that you can really believe in and own. And when you really take it in and really own it, it will shift you. It's like Dr. Dispenza talks about, you know, shifting your mind and shifting your body and creating a new body. It shifts, you create new neural pathways. It shifts the cellular makeup, and it does it in ways you may not even know. Yeah, in fact, actually, it's there's just so many things. This incredible practitioner that I've worked with on and off for about 12 years. And he said the message has been so clear. He said, you know, normally a practitioner wants to help fix something. And he said, I put my hands on your head or your body. And he said the message, he can hear that, he can really hear this. He said the message is so clear. Do not try and fix anything. Your job is to keep the channels open. We'll do the rest. So, yeah. In fact, yeah, that. I mean, yeah. So,
any other question? Before we go on, we have a lot more to cover. First, Janice, then Sam.
When you say, you know, healing, because I know you're a healer also, and I know you instruct healers to heal in a different way. It's not so much aligned with the specific protocols that we've been taught, but like your practitioner listens to your body, you're teaching other practitioners to do the same. And so it's not so cookie cutter, like this is the formula to do such and such for earth or air or fire, but listen to the body and your body will. And so can you explain a little bit about that also in your approach to healing?
I don't know. I think you did a great job. I don't know if I can elaborate on that. When I do work in the last number of years, when I'm called to do it, and that's when I do it, is when I'm called to do it. I use the geometries the geometries are what does the healing. And in the workshops or the retreats that I do, I actually have a whole afternoon where I ask people to just, the people that are participants, you know, all of us have gone through all of our Reikis and all of our things that we're trained in. Everybody wants to do something, whether they want to put their hands on somebody, or they want to guide something, or they want to align chakras. And it's really challenging when I say, I want you to do nothing. I want you to stand and hold this space for whatever of these geometric technologies, because they're alive and they're actually intelligence manifest. Okay. It took me 6 years to hear that they were alive and they get it. And it spoke to me and it said, I am not a symbol. I do not represent anything. I am a living geometric technology system. I am. And I went, okay. I really know. I hadn't heard that before. So when I want to have people have when I invite people to have the experience of whatever geometry they might want to call forth, or allow whatever one wants to speak to them, all of us stand around and hold the energetic space. And that's really challenging for some people because they want to fix, you know, they want to align chakras and they want to do whatever. And you've been around me. I teach an entirely different energetic system, and it's the new human. It's like we are at a pivotal point of shifting everything from the geometries can help us with, I call the next octave of love, the next octave of human. We have abilities to do so much more. And in addition to, when I say a new energetic system, it's the ability to hold higher frequencies, more intensities of the frequencies for longer periods of time, to be able to not only receive them, but to sustain them. And the higher the frequencies we're working with, the system has to be able to do that. Now, it was only after I started teaching this and I thought, oh my gosh, I never ever thought that there may have been another energetic system other than the chakra system that we have all been taught and know that it's been around for thousands of years. But at some point in the evolution of mankind, there may very well have been, and probably was, a time when the current system that we know, I say current for thousands of years, has served humanity now incredibly, incredibly. And it's maybe also time for us to make this pivotal shift. And so for some people, for the majority, they're carrying a template of this new system, because it is totally shift. It's a total shift. And that's another thing. It's another whole story. It's another interview. It's another time. So anyway, Janice, thank you. I didn't mean to go too far into anything. Yeah.
Okay, we have 2 more questions. Sam, you're first, and then Sabrina.
Thank you, Janice. Antonio, thank you so much for this great work. When you mentioned Dr. Joe Dispenza, it reminds me of the heart frequency that he brings up from heart math.
Mm-hmm.
And how the heart oscillates as the biggest oscillator and brings into alignment the brain, you know, and all the other frequencies. And I'm just wondering, you know, how powerful it is to just stay quiet, go inward and ask, you know, those open-ended questions that the heart only knows to move us forward. I wonder if you could speak to a little bit about that. What would be?
Gosh, Sam, I don't know what to say about that. I honestly don't. It's like the heart-mind connection is incredible, and the fact that they're finding, you know, brain cells in the heart, and the fact that the magnetic toruses that are toroidal fields that are around us are huge in comparison to the brain. And the more that we are focusing and meditating with the heart and from the heart, the toroidal fields are huge. And I I just accept it. I think it's fabulous. I think it's an of course, but of course we feel and experience, and Earth is. I've always been taught that the Earth is a fertile ground for learning love. Well, we are also creating, and this is what Janice is doing. We're talking about creating the new Earth, which is why I don't want to get too far afield. We're talking about the new Earth, and we're talking about, and the new human's going to help create the new Earth, but the Earth is actually a living organism too. So it is also evolving. Life is evolving. Humanity is evolving. Geometry is evolving. Mathematics evolves. I mean, this is mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing. And so there are things I don't know. I mean, I'm so focused kind of with what I'm doing that I don't know that I can answer your question in any other way, Sam.
Thank you. Wonderful.
Okay, Sabrina, go ahead.
Hi, thank you so much for all this information. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited about what you're bringing to this meeting. So my question is, you mentioned that the heart infinity living organism has a tone like do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Have you heard a tone that is associated with that, or a musical song? Because I keep on wanting to hear something that's associated with it, but I'm not sure if you've had that download, or if there's any other things that are associated with that with music.
Well, first of all, I was not receiving at that time. I got the geometry, but I wasn't bringing in prose and music until a little later. And it is not saying that they're singing do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. That's the way I'm explaining it. When it says the next octave, we're talking about something that is anywhere from 1,000 to 2,500 years in the future. That is where the top level is. And then where we are now is do. And then where this particular geometric family is taking, so that they can take us, is up here. So it's not necessarily sounds, but there are songs that come through with a number of them starting, I think, at the third. Okay. And I can even do that later, but I know that I have a lot of slides to share with you. We need to.
Yeah. Let's go forward with that. And Antonia is going to speak about her use of these on her land. So go ahead.
So those of you who are familiar with Dan Winter, he's a self-professed, well, he's a physicist, self-taught, and mathematician and visionary, etc. And he believes the golden ratio is the fundamental ratio behind all self-organizing forces, including and especially gravity, life force, perception, bliss, enlightenment, negentropy, and the universe. I mean, that is, you know, he basically says it's the basis of all of it. Nassim Haramein, many of you probably know, infinities are fundamental to creation. So I just kind of, every time I see something or feel something or can study something or be introduced to somebody who feels as if they're adding depth to what I've been bringing through, then I pay attention. Okay, so this is how we're starting to work on with the labyrinth, with the new earth. We've got the first geometry, which is the first golden infinity, and believe it or not, everybody assumes it's feminine. It's not. In this particular formation, I think you can see that the heart is what I call the heart womb, holding space for masculine creation. And then when it replicates, it becomes the feminine aspect of creation and the masculine heart womb. And my husband was one who pointed out, he said, you know, men have a nurturance. Men can hold space for creation. And I went, well, yes, of course. Why did I not think of that? So when they come together, they create this space. Now, it would look like an equilateral. People will often assume that this is an equilateral infinities. It's not. You can follow it. You already see this. It starts here. It goes small top, large bottom, large top, small bottom. Those are two interwoven golden ratio infinities. Okay, so here's D, if you're still on. And before I had the labyrinth on the hilltop, I had floor walks made, because just like finger tracers, you know, I wanted people to be able to walk the labyrinth, because believe me, it was a major undertaking and it had not happened yet. So I had these made. Just even on the floor, there are people who can't walk it because of the energy coming off the lines. And other people, when it first was introduced, I was told not to have people walk it more than once. I did have a couple of friends who showed up and said they could walk it more, and they walked it 3 or 4 or 5 times, and they were laid out on the sofa dizzy. And they said, wow, I didn't. And I was surprised, because I can walk it, but then I'm the one who's bringing them through. So I have a different relationship with them. Here's the first labyrinth. And Josh was on the screen earlier, and Josh was very instrumental in helping this happen, in addition to bringing a fellow that I had never met to help countersink all these. These are all handmade pavers, about 23 pounds a piece, about 288 pavers, not only made, but a 5-page computer layout to do this. Okay. So anyway, it's exciting. I love this photo. Here it is from the drone shot. And it used to be the original. You saw the gold infinity. Okay, the very first one is lapis lazuli blue heart, infinite open heart, always open to give and to receive, and the gold, golden infinity. So here's the gold, as much as you can get it in stain. And then you step over to the blue, and then you do the inverted golden infinity. This has been named the Grace Walk. We have 2 exterior circles of prayer flags, and I call them ceremonial flags. And actually, the labyrinth starts at the outer circle, which is clockwise. Then you come back to center, and then you go counterclockwise. And then you come back to where you started, and then you come in here, and then you start the walk, and then you exit. Lined up with House Mountain Power Center here. I'm back to Janice.
You've created a new labyrinth form, geometry, whatever we want to call it.
Yeah.
And the typical labyrinths that we know about kind of look like this.
The Shark Cathedral. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the standard. I have it upside down, but this is more or less the standard labyrinth. And yours, and of course, it's a different geometry, and yours is very different, and you would obviously have a different energy because the geometrics are different. You said that when they walk, they have this energy that they almost can't contain.
Depends.
Can you elaborate a little bit on the differences? Because a lot of people, the reason I'm asking is a lot of people walk the standard labyrinth and they feel like they're more expanded, and they feel more in the moment, or they feel like they've gained some insight. It helps them in that way. How does this new labyrinth, this new energy, this new shape, how does that affect people in a different way?
Every labyrinth walk is totally unique to the person walking it and the frame of mind that they are when they walk it. I never even considered the Shark Cathedral. I mean, I'm very familiar with it. I've certainly walked a number of them, but this was calling for me to use the interwoven golden ratio infinities. Little did I know 10, 12 years later, 10 years later, I would be adding to it because it was almost 10 years in order to get this down. So walking it is for some people is cathartic. For other people, it's just a walk that's fun on a hilltop that's got a 360 view. And it depends, like anybody here who is familiar with power spots will know that there are times when a power spot is more on and a time when a power spot is not on. So that depends. There's also times of the day when it's stronger. I've been up there at midnight and it was scary. I was surrounded by like 100-foot energies all the way around the hilltop. And it was like, oh my God, I'm scared. And the more I sang, the closer they came. And then, oh my gosh. So I don't know. But when I had the floor walk, and Dee has walked the floor walks, and maybe even the one on the hilltop, I would imagine. When we had a Women of Wisdom retreat, and there were like 86 women, and I was asked to bring the floor walks. And at that time I was playing my lap harp, and I would intuitively tone as people were walking. And I had never been, first of all, I'd never been exposed, had the floor walk exposed to more than 15 people. So I really wasn't prepared for this. And people were literally having cathartic breakthroughs. People were walking it, and actually in some cases had to have somebody walk with them because they couldn't even stand on it. Somebody else said they couldn't put their foot down because it got within about 6 inches and got shoved off to the side because the energy coming off the line. So that was a new experience for me. And as I said, this is a journey that I've been taking too. So I'm giving you the crash course, the cliff notes in very long journey of immersion into something that I had the wiring for, but really didn't know anything about. Okay, so you want to continue?
Yes, let's continue.
Okay. So here we are with this beautiful grace walk is what it was called and what it is called. And then we go to how it's created. So we took what you have just seen on this particular labyrinth, 2 golden ratio, interwoven golden ratio infinities. And then this got replicated. The interwoven got replicated. Then it turns sideways, and then it slides in and actually intersects. Now these are computer drawings based on the rods that I chose for the actual sculpture. Okay, so they can overlap, but in my drawings I have them because of steel. You know, they're steel in actuality. So you're gonna walk this now, and this, and this, and this, and then on the new walk, it's this, and this, and this, and this. Now, somebody, I won't mention a name, said that they had been shown how to walk it. And what I really understood when she said that was that this was very clearly for the general public, because this is the way it had been for 10 years, had been energetically into the ground. And then I was shown how it transformed into the new one, and it was in reverse. So what my understanding was when she mentioned it was that each person may be getting their own way of walking this. And that would be totally understandable because it's speaking to them personally as to what they might want to do with it. So I will say that I was shown this picture 3 weeks before we laid the first one. And I will tell you honestly that it's the proverbial fist to the sky. It was like, you gotta be kidding me. it's taken me almost 10 years to get this down. You're showing me that I've got to do this. And the message came through immediately saying, not now, but soon. Well, I thought it was not like a year, and a year always seems like so long. So I thought, oh, okay, I can do that. And then for the next 9 years, I'm beating myself up because I think I'm not stepping up, that I haven't had time. I haven't walked forward. I'm literally constantly thinking I've dropped the ball. And finally, in December of 2020, I get a message saying, simply, it's time. And I knew exactly what it meant. And so the following, and then I looked at the date because it said, next year. And then the first one was unveiled on the 12/12/12, and this one was to be unveiled on the 12/12/21. So all these years I'm beating myself up when it was spirit time is not human time. Soon meant we'll tell you when. Okay. So this is the sculpture, and I would love to say I'm flying, but I'm on the scaffolding because we just put it on the post. And because apparently you can't hear, for some reason, the audio that goes with this, Janice gave me permission to read you the message that came through with the Golden Cross. I am the balancer, the harmonizer. With elegance and grace, simplicity and beauty, I bring all to center point. Holding center, I invite you to move into and through the portal of your heart system. Wherever you desire to travel or be, I am with you. For wherever you go, your center is grace. We come together as one in the heartbeat. I sing you, you sing me. Okay, so this is what it looks like energetically on the ground. What you're seeing, and why we're talking about this with the new earth creation, is this is a power spot. This is a power point. And this geometry brings that to this new evolving earth. So when I realized that everything's evolving, including the grace walk, which then began to be replicated and became something even more. And then it became the living prayer labyrinth. So this is what it looks like in motion. You're going to love this. In the interest of time, I'm going to stop this in a minute. Yeah. Okay. So this is the evolution of the grace walk, which is what you're seeing here. I also got the information that this was to go from lapis lazuli blue and gold to metallic gold, the entire labyrinth. So that was another whole story about how to find a chemical company, a concrete company, somebody who had metallic gold that would withstand the elements. And that's another whole story, guys. This is what it looks like today. And Janice and the amazing group from the DC Connecting Consciousness group that came out for 3 or 4 work parties and just did an amazing job helping get this together. I mean, just incredible. You were amazing. So yeah, so here are your ceremonial flags. I was very specifically told crimson on the outside, saffron on the inside. Not sure which one Janice is. That's me. And it's just amazing. It's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. Here's the unveiling on May 1st. We started unveiling it on the 12/12/21, and we found out that it actually was going to be forever, the living prayer labyrinth. And then the completion of it was unveiled on May 1st. It's amazing. Okay, this is the center of it. This had to be created, okay, because it was going to be a spaghetti bowl in here. You can't, you can't see it, but there actually is a 12-foot center in here. But it turned into an absolute spaghetti bowl with everything crisscrossing all over. And so it took several months to work this out with this fellow who's the drone photographer and an architect, and he helped lay this all out architecturally. From the air, every single paver matches the existing ones, and it was amazing. So I call this a directional rosette. Number one, the very unveiling we had, I was guided to do white roses and coral roses. So the center is all roses. It looks like a tapestry from here. And it actually lines up with each of the walkways. So at the edge of each of the walkways. And it combines the original with the new. Okay, you can still see some of the fresh dirt and stuff around. We had to countersink everything. So I'm calling it a directional rosette. And then we had fun doing this. Love, 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 love. Okay, living prayer labyrinth. We had people writing prayers for the future of humanity, the future of the earth, the future of all life everywhere. It will remain this way as long as we own this property. We had people write them out, put them in scrolls, and then we buried them. And we started out burying them underneath each of the cement pavers. It was very emotional. It was pretty incredible. And this will continue with the overnight guests that we have. I'm working out how they can be collected, and then we will enter them into the earth as long as they're inside the circle. So we're calling it golden living prayer labyrinth. And this is the kind of thing the cameras show. One of our participants took 3 different images showed up on her photographs. And earlier we had a Mayan fire ceremony down by the lodge, and one of the participants said she saw a golden staircase come out of the sky with all kinds of beings coming down, etc. And when she saw this photograph, she just went, "Oh my God, that's it." So all kinds of fun things happen. All the energy around here. This is not one of the family per se. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hurt your feelings there. It is actually called the witness. It's called celebration, and it actually has in its heart womb an image of the unified field system of love for the next millennium. So that's all. There's just so much I can't share with you now because of time, and it's classes and work. I mean, and this is a group from Beijing. People don't know why they want to take jumping pictures around this sculpture, but inside it is the unified field system of love for the next millennium. This is an amazing statement that someone I know gave me, and it's referencing the geometries. The outcome of this vision has resulted in masterpieces of art that have combined the highest intent, geometric technology, and motion into something far greater than the sum of its parts. We seem to be dabbling with the core of creation, motion, and infinite density of potential. Powerful statement. And don't think small, think big. I have actually seen the geometries of love on the vertices of the Platonic solids, infusing it with a higher frequency of love. My understanding is that with the new earth, we are not leaving the Platonic solids. The new earth is another vibrational frequency of another dimension of what we are already here on. The Platonic solids will be taken with us, but and they have a higher frequency of love that have been being infused for, I've seen them for over 10 years. I can watch these on the grid lines and the lines around the earth. I've seen them on the geometries, on the Platonic solids. I mean, it's really amazing. And if anybody's interested in more of an immersion, 4.5 days I'm doing in November. This will be the third one at our retreat center. I used to go a couple times to California a year, and since COVID, I haven't. And then my Portugal, retreat got canceled with COVID too. So we have a beautiful 250-acre retreat center in the Shenandoah Valley of Virginia. And if anybody's interested, please either contact Janice or take a look at this website, antoniaalbano.com. And I think that is it. You guys are
Okay. A few questions. I'll thank you so much. And I do have a question and a quote. You received a letter or a note from a man named C.M. Jackson from Wyoming. I understand he was a scientist.
No, it's an amazing clairvoyant, and I sent her photographs of it and asked her if she tune into it.
So I'll read what she said. State of Grace Pulsation Center, your Labyrinth area, is an important command central for the new earth. It is a living, evolving, multi-everything crop circle, which is totally tuned into to the land, to the evolution of earth and the greater cosmos. The symbols are two-way communications, both transmitting and receiving energies and more. I am vibrating just from looking at the photos. And then she has all in caps, awesome. Wow, what a statement.
It is.
What's going on your farm?
I haven't sent her photographs of the newly evolved geometry on the two. Yeah.
Wow. So she's already saying this from the previous one.
From the original, yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay, does anybody have any questions? Go ahead, San Angeline.
I just wanted to say how much I love the when you did the movement of the symbols, and I just felt so immediately and so strongly that somebody could hear the music that goes with it, the music that they're knitting.
There is music that comes with it.
Oh, okay. Because I wondered if you'd heard it.
I'll sing it to you if you'd like.
Okay.
Yes.
See if I can. elegance and grace, simplicity and beauty, elegance and grace, simplicity and beauty. You take my breath away and give it back to me. Elegance and grace, simplicity and beauty, elegance and grace, simplicity and beauty. You take my breath away and give it back to me. Thank you. That's the song that goes with the sculpture, and there's actually a different one for the Labyrinth. So, yeah.
Oh, wow. Well, I probably can speak for a few others, but you sure took my breath away tonight. But you've been doing that in our talks. Seriously, any questions, any other comments or anything for Antonia? Go ahead, Jane.
Yeah, I saw a video one time and it was this guy had taken a picture of the sun at the exact same time for a whole year.
Mhm.
And at the very end, it made that, they called it an alima, and it
Mhm.
makes that whole, the bigger loop at the figure 8, and that's the path our sun makes. And
Mhm.
which I think is awesome.
Yes, it's gorgeous. One of the things I want to mention, this is really important, that when this first came through, 95% of the infinities were seen laying down, with the way we've been taught, the lazy 8. When this came through in 2004, suddenly they started standing up. When Hope got hers, she got a message saying that it would be enveloping the earth, and within a year, where you didn't really see infinities very much, all of a sudden they're in jewelry, and they're in logos, and they're in advertising and everything. But there's a very big difference when somebody's just drawing a smaller top and a larger bottom. That does not mean that it's a golden ratio. The golden ratio infinity is very specifically a mathematical equation from the center of the cross point to the center of the top to the center of the bottom. In my case, it was rods. Absolutely mathematically important in order to have what they call the quality of the physics that goes with the golden ratio. It has to be in the mathematical equation in order to create the frequency that it has to have to be functioning as what it came here to do. If you just draw a smaller top, larger bottom, it looks pretty. But I have never seen, in 18 years, I have not seen anybody anywhere on Google, anything that I can research, that talks about a very specific mathematical proportioned infinity for anything, much less acknowledging the quality of the physics with the creation form. So yeah, and it's a very beautiful diagram. I mean, photographs. I mean, it's gorgeous. Mhm.
Anyone else? Anyone else? Go ahead and unmute. Go
Hi,
ahead, Josh.
Gosh,
Antonia.
yeah.
Oh my
Hi.
goodness. I've gotten my breath taken away. I was with Antonia, and my opening was on Valentine's Day 2010.
Mm-hmm.
So I've seen Antonia gain in her confidence and her clarity. It's just so beautiful, Antonia. Just
Mm-hmm.
it's just so moving to,
Yeah.
to see that you've held true to your vision despite everything. It's been, I know how challenging it is to be out there alone with your own doubts as well as just, but you've just persevered. And I mean, it was just so wonderful to see this group come together and make, and and then create this beautiful inner and outer experience. So, and I just also want to echo, seeing them in motion was so powerful for me. I just thank you for all that you've done to bring this through. And just, I'm so grateful for you and grateful for the earth that you've been willing to do this at whatever personal sacrifice it's been. I know it's hard for me to say that, but thank you.
Thank you, honey. Yeah, Josh has been through most of this. It took me quite a while. I knew that I was told that I was the messenger to really understand that I'm apparently a messenger for a group consciousness, and that I volunteered to do this. But the thousands of beings that are supporting and here to help all of us and to help all of this transition and all of this evolution is really enough to break, I mean, to open your heart and just like tears, you know, it's incredible. So yes, I've stepped into with more confidence of what I came here to do. And I feel really good about that. My evolution too.
Yeah, I feel it speaks to all of us, Antonia. You know, it's not like you're some amazing spiritual teacher who, you know, has had all, you just had this vision of what's possible and you've held it. So who you are is a representation of infinite love and the evolution into it. It's not just something that everything is evolving. And you certainly demonstrate that, and what's coming through you is evolving. As you've evolved, more and more can come through, and that's true for all of us. So a living example for all of us to keep opening and keeping trusting our vision of infinite love and what's possible on this planet, and especially when we combine with each other. So thank you, love.
Thank you, Josh. Wow. Anyone else want to make a comment? Or Janice, go ahead.
Yeah, I definitely second Josh's feelings. It's quite, so it's so powerful to be there. And yeah, those tears have opened up, you know, my heart has opened me up again too, to be there and to feel those energetics. It's just, it's beyond this earth. And we are so grateful that it's here in Virginia and it's so close and we can go there and we can experience this. And so grateful to know Antonia, to be there to help her, you know, to create this, that last phase of the
it's so amazing.
Living Prayer Labyrinth was so exceptional. And it's definitely a web of consciousness that's galactic. And the night before we finished and we had that celebration, that opening, I had a dream where I lifted up one of the pavers and it was like a huge, gigantic paver. And I saw the web within the earth that your creation, not only the labyrinth, but all the other sacred energetic geometries that are on top of Mount Grace. This is just a small portion of what she has done. And to be the creator and the manifester, and when these energetic beings speak to you, you listen and you do sacrifice yourself to do this. And you are doing this pretty much on your own with volunteers that come in to help you, you know, and needing more volunteers to, to create your vision. It's extraordinary.
You were amazing, and the whole group that you brought with you, I couldn't have done it without you. And the moral support and the joy. Every day, they started early in the morning. They would call me. She would check in with me. What he went done for the day, and then she would just do it. And they brought food, and they prepared food, and I mean, it was just like I was so unused to it. Josh was, here on the first go around, and the same thing. It's just joy. The people who have come to help are just filled with such joy that it's buoyant. It's really buoyant. So thank you, Janice. Thank you, Josh, and for anybody else here that I've seen that. Dee has been on the property several times. Patty's been on the property. Yeah. So thank you all. And for those of you who haven't, we're not going anywhere. So come on.
I'm so touched. I knew this would be, because of talking to you in preparation for this, I knew this would be a special evening. And it's beyond what I thought. I mean, I'm tearing up too. It's beyond what I thought, even though I've come to know you. I'm really happy that I have been given a sort of a mission to help spread the word about so many great people, including you, that are having influence to uplift the world, uplift us, and introduce us to some of the magic that is happening on our behalf in so many levels. The more I look, the more I find, and I just want whoever can come forth and help spread the word and have her on or whatever. It's such a blessing to just be a little tiny part of introducing you and other people to the world. And I can't tell you how touched I am by all of you that I've interviewed and will be interviewed. What you guys are doing is so special.
We're
And
all
it's
doing it.
I know.
You bringing everybody to the forefront. I mean, for the time that you do, that you give us to share our stories, I'm just so amazed at the people that you're bringing forward and how exciting it is, and how many people are doing interviews with people doing this. So all of us can get to feel everybody else's energy and awe. And I don't feel like I have time enough to devote to go other directions, but to just listen to something like this and know that there are people who care, people who really resonate with it, people who are looking at envisioning the new earth in whatever way that it speaks to them. And my path has been geometric language. And they're amazing. They actually, apparently, in addition to what Josh says, they actually already existed, and I brought them through and birthed them onto this earth plane and helped ground by putting them in steel. Apparently, one of my friends who has been following this and really sees it, and she said, bringing them in and putting them into steel and the ground was brilliant. You grounded them, and I didn't know, and I just did it because there was no other way to share it with anybody to make something pretty. So it's a village, it's a big village. It's an earth village. So thank you all so very much for your time, and I know that you're probably way past your normal.
No, it's not. We've got a little bit of time, but if anybody has any other comments, just speak up. I'll give you a second here. Anything else? Thank you. Antonia, my goodness. Okay, Ted, go ahead.
Yeah, Antonia, I think geometry and mathematics is like the language of the universe, and I think that's what's going to connect us all with our galactic families and stuff in the times to come.
Ted, it already is. We're just finally acknowledging it.
Yep, and thank you so much. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're most welcome. Mathematics is a language. And as I said, the people who are into sacred geometry feel like it's their thought forms in the mind of God. It's how God creates, is mathematics into form. So
Yeah.
for the mathematicians who know the language, the physicists who know the language, we're all, you know, those of us who aren't familiar with it are learning that we can speak and shape motion, color, and sound, and it creates frequency, and frequency creates matter. And so it's really important, like this golden ratio infinity, nothing else would have fit into these infinite open hearts. And if you wouldn't remember all the ones in the beginning, but every single one of them has this golden or this infinite love as its building block. Just like I said, the Platonic solids were the building block of all organic matter. The infinite love geometry is the building block for the entire series of the mathematical geometric technologies for the next octave of human, the next octave of love. I've received also another whole family called, also with golden ratio infinities. It's called the geometric technologies of conscious creation. And I'm still working with those. So, yeah.
Well, Josh, go ahead.
Yeah, I have a question about, Antonia, if you could talk a little bit about how to use these in meditation and sacred practice. And also the motion, as I said, I hadn't seen that before. And it was just so powerful. And so could you say some about how to enhance our experience with these?
Well, actually, I think if you go to my website and look under geometries, you'll see the infinite love is the only one so far that is expanded in its description. And I think there should be a printable image. So by holding it, by printing it out and holding it in your hands, you can meditate with it that way. You can trace it, which I really like to do because I'm also kinesthetic. So I like to trace something and my body begins to, connect with it. You can sit with it and look at it and ask it to speak to you. These are, and I'm really serious when I heard that voice, it said, I am not a representation of anything. I'm not a symbol. I'm a living geometric technology system. I am. These are intelligence manifest. Talk to them, ask them to speak to you. And that's what I've done is I said, speak to me, talk to me, tell me. And the PowerPoints I use for my retreats and things, Josh, I have animations of several of the geometries. And I showed that because it was what we were talking about on the New Earth, and the reason that Janice contacted me was because of Janice Johnson's excitement about the labyrinth itself. So we were only looking at the labyrinth geometry. Yeah. So you got to come to me for more, or support me, put it together, and I'll come to you. Okay. Are you in California right now?
I am, yes.
Okay, cool.
Heading east. I'm coming to see you.
Okay.
I'm definitely coming to the mountain and seeing the new one. Wow, so
Me
amazing,
too.
so beautiful. Oh my goodness, it's worth a
Yeah.
trip across country for that.
And Patty was there. Patty's been
Patty.
there in a long time. Come.
I'm coming. I'm decided. Anybody else? Final question. Anybody?
Just want to say hi.
Josh?
Hey, Patty. Hi, sweetie.
Right.
It's amazing. I'm just in awe. And I started dinner at 6:30 and I'm still halfway through it because I can't get the food finished. So a little distracted right this moment, but I'm taking it all in, and I just love it. Thank you, Antonia.
You're welcome.
Lee, are not words, as always. And it's so good to see you. And we still have to do lunch.
Yeah. Well,
And I see you, Josh. You're lurking in the background there. I'm going to go ahead and mute.
Bye.
Bye.
Spirit.
I'm here though.
Okay.
Okay, Janice.
And I just want to say that Sabrina is here, our new CC Virginia coordinator, and Robin is here, our East Coast Regional CC coordinator, and my co-partner Jane Dillon is event host with me for CC, and so we're definitely going to make a trip to Antonia's. And yeah, we tried planning this, I think, a couple of years ago before Robin moved to Florida, but we're gonna do it again, and we'll coordinate, and we'll get you there, Ted. We'll get you to the top of the mountain. Yeah, we're gonna do it. So we'll put out you know, an email and let people know, and it's gonna be amazing, life changing.
Yes, absolutely. I can't wait to visit this place and be in the energies and frequencies. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited right now.
Remember, your experience is your unique experience. And so if you come wanting to just immerse yourself in the gifts that the property itself offers to everybody who comes, the elementals call this the land of grace. Really, that's what they call it. When Gabriella was coming, when Patty knows Gabriella from England, and when she was coming, the elementals, you know, told her that they wanted to welcome her to the land of grace. You know, so yeah, lots of things going on all levels everywhere. So this is wonderful. This is powerful. This is really about taking humanity into something that is so far beyond generations to come. But if we can align with a frequency and trust that we say we want to do this, and this is the direction we want to go, then all they ask you to do is have faith, open the door, and walk into the unknown. And the rest of it, they will take care of. So it's not any small, that's not a small request. But the results are cellular shifting, nervous systems that are different. You may not even know it. There's so many other changes that are happening that I really can't even address right now. But at some time in the future, I will. Okay.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. On behalf of everyone, what a treat. What a beautiful spiritual treat you are.
Yeah.
And have been tonight. And thank you everyone for coming. If you're interested in our group, our next meeting will not be recorded. It will be a conversation amongst whoever comes. And I hope I'm holding the thought, and I absolutely know we've done this before, that will be a beautiful, beautiful conversation. We'll be watching a really 10-minute video to help us get courage and by speaking about ourselves. How are you keeping the high watch and holding your vibration high in the midst of all the chaos out there? Let's get together next time, our next meeting, and help each other. And the last time we did this, it was so incredibly touching and inspiring. It really was. So I've been waiting for a little plug-in between these interviews to do that once more. And it was last time it was beautiful, and I think it's going to be even more beautiful this coming meeting. So you'll get a notice if you want, and those who want to subscribe to this, just go to the website, newearthvisioningproject.com, and you'll get the updates and the invitation, the Zoom link and all that kind of thing. Thank you for coming. Love you all. Thank you again, Antonia.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you all.